I've just come on here today to do a bit of an energy update for this Pisces lunar eclipse energy that we're all in. For many of you, it feels as though you are in a living nightmare. And of course, that's a little bit dark. And I know that for some people, that might be a bit too much to deal with right now. But the truth is, with this eclipse energy, it is feeling very intense. It's feeling really thick. It really is giving moving through treacle or something like that. Now, here's the thing. An eclipse is a portal, right? It's where we are given the opportunity to go within, go through, explore our shadows, think about karmic patterns that are being exposed or revealed to us. It's also a time for us to really go deep within and figure out what are the soul contracts we're ready to end. But also, I think the key thing with an eclipse is, what are we willing to bring to an end so that something new can begin? Now, here's the thing. I've been up for hours. Like, this lunar eclipse in Pisces is really doing a number on my sleep patterns. My sleep has been crazy for a couple of weeks now, but it is really, really ramping up as we get closer to this energy. And I think if you've been experiencing the same thing, it's good to know that it is probably the energy and not a long-term problem that you've developed. So don't panic, go with it. But Pisces is the 12th house sign. It's the sign of sleep and dreams and illusions, but also nightmares. So go easy on yourself. Allow whatever wants to come through to come through. If you are dreaming a lot at the moment, do yourself a favor and start a dream journal. Write those dreams down. So you can go back and reflect on them and kind of understand what the messaging is that is coming through to you. So the update that has come through for me this morning, and this has been coming through very steadily in quite a pronounced fashion. There's lots of like flashing lights happening. There are silver discs coming through, which usually signify moving through dimensions. So if you're somebody that is deeply intuitive, where you are receiving insights and downloads for yourself, you might be seeing lots of signs, whether these are numbers, creatures, insects, or even just sensations, like lots of like cold shards coming through. I've had sensations that feel like shattered glass, almost like penetrating parts of my body. Don't panic. This is simply that transcendence energy that Pisces really emits for us. And as we come into this lunar eclipse, which is happening tomorrow, these sensations, experiences, signs are only going to intensify as we are pulled deeper into this energy, so that we can receive clarity on what it is time to let go of, release, and end, so that we can emerge into the new and align with the new path. So for me, the thing that comes through the most is that we are being offered steps or ladders that allow us to climb. Now, here's the thing. There are no elevators or escalators at this time. The steps and ladders do offer us ways to ascend out of the old patterns, the old cycles, the old ways of doing things, but it does require work. We're being called into an energy of hard work, but this hard work will be rewarded. So Saturn went back, it's retrograde, it went back into Pisces to complete some of the work that was offered to us earlier in the year and over the past couple of years as Saturn has moved through Pisces. And Saturn is just about discipline, hard work, structure, getting things together. It's like develop that backbone, get those boundaries in place. And by leaning into this Saturnian energy in Pisces rather than trying to escape it, go around it and avoid it, we have the opportunity to almost like think of it as building a boat, right? If there's about to be a storm, if we're um, in the midst of feeling like we're drowning, what Saturn is offering us is like, if you're willing to do the work, I'll give you a ship, I'll give you a boat that will take you through these troubled seas. But it requires work, right? You might have the trees, you'll have to chop them down, make some wood, find some nails and make that boat, but you will have the boat that keeps you safe in these tumultuous waters. So really lean in to the energy of hard work. So where you may have skated through on things before, or even just gone on a surface level and not wanted to go deep, you're being called to go deep, to go through rather than avoid, to get the results that you actually deeply, deeply desire, and for the most part should be expecting. So this lunar eclipse in Pisces is really helping us to enter the next realm, the next dimension, the next level of whatever it is you've been asking for and hoping for. There is this really strong energy of reinstating and reigniting love, as in true love, as in love without judgment, love without consequences, love without conditions. And obviously that starts with you. I'm very, very big on self-love and everything coming from within and as being able to do the work internally. So you may be called to explore some of your shadows around love. So maybe old karmic patterns are coming up about the way you were raised, the love experiences you've had previously. These will be coming back and coming strongly into focus. Like Pisces is all about vision, right? So vision literally as in eyesight, but also vision as in your third eye, as in your future and what you would like to have happen. So these karmic patterns around love are coming keenly back into focus. You may just be having flashbacks and memories of old relationships, of times in your childhood where you longed for love or you felt as though love was absent or you were taught to love in a certain way. These shadows are here for you to really do that work. Again, the theme of work is coming up pretty strong. I'm just going to be honest about that. But this is an opportunity for you to really get deep into that work of releasing the judgment and replacing it with curiosity. When we're able to be curious about these patterns and the karma that's revealing itself, that's ripening, we are able to then really get into that space of releasing the old so we can step into the new. A really good example of this is where we might judge the way that we were parented or the way our siblings have engaged with us, or even good friends and old relationships. So rather than judging them, have an attitude of curiosity, like what were these people going through? Were they doing the best that they could with what they had? Were they trying to love us with the capacity that they have? If you have the capacity for a gallon of love and you're in relationship with somebody who only has a pint, then you're going to feel as though you're left wanting and this person doesn't love you. But if people are loving to the best of their ability, and it's not enough for you, then it's on you to make up the difference. So developing that attitude of curiosity around love is going to really help. Now, the other thing that came up is because the world never ends, it's on us to end the stories, the illusions, in some cases, some of the dreams that we've been holding on to that are causing us to trapped. I'm sorry, that's my dog in the background. um, Shattering the dream that I could do a peaceful Substack live. Okay. So here's the thing. We often get into these spaces of feeling like stuck, lost, maybe even lonely. A lot of times we have like low mood and feel disillusioned about things. That is often internal rather than external. That is often about us telling ourselves these stories and allowing those stories to repeat over and over again until they feel real. Now, Pisces is the sign of the storyteller. And what I know from my many years of experience as a mindfulness practitioner is that the minute our head hits the pillow, the mind kicks in. It goes into overdrive. The stories become wild and creative. And at the end of the day, the mind's job is to be imaginative. That is the home of the imagination. The thing that we should do, though, is we should constantly dismiss the stories of the mind and instead focus on the reality of our lives. Stop. Sorry about that. And instead focus on the realities of our lives. So where we tell ourselves stories around we should be, we could have, the woulda, shoulda, couldas of life, if we look at the reality, then we can figure out what steps we need to make. There's no law or rule that says we should always be happy, we should always be in love, we should always love and feel loved, that we should always be kind, that we're all great people. These are the myths and stories that we tell ourselves. And so this current energy of this lunar eclipse in Pisces, which is actually a full moon, a lunar eclipse is always a full moon. So the full moon is the energy of illumination, right? We've got the full light of the moon shining on our souls. And it feels like that right now. So you might feel like you're actually living in a bedtime story at the moment. You get to choose the life that you live. And I know that people say this, and I know it sounds like rhetoric, but the truth is you can escape the stories that you've been told, the stories you've told yourself, the stories that come from culture, society, families, friendship groups, the stories of who you should be, who you could be, and instead simply wake up, face the reality, and begin to live the life that you choose, right? So with this lunar eclipse in Pisces, we are being assisted, we're being guided, we're being invited to take a really good look at the stories. In some cases, you will be taken on a journey to review your Akashic records. Like I've had conversations with somebody who has actually had a really powerful dream that felt more like a visitation. They were greeted by an ancestor that has passed over, and they were taken through the halls with all of the records to go back in time to look at old stories of previous lives that gave them clarity about some of the patterns going on in their life at the moment. Absolutely mind-blowing and amazing. But it's not uncommon. And if you set the intention that you want to, that you're ready and willing to release the stories that are holding you captive, that are keeping you stuck, to release the karma where you keep repeating these cycles that just end up in the place of sufferation and pain. If you would like to live a life with more peace and just more alignment, feeling as though you have forward movement and momentum, feeling as though you're living your purpose, feeling as though there are more moments of bliss than heartache, then it just is an opportunity with this lunar eclipse in Pisces to allow these patterns, these cycles to be revealed so that you can ascend out of them, so that you can begin to live the way that you want to live. And the other thing that came up is that it's time for us to end the illusion that the habits and the coping mechanisms we've adopted are actually working. No judgment, but we all find ways to escape, right? And Pisces is the home of escapism. And this energy, especially with Saturn going back into Pisces, is actually an opportunity to end those unhealthy coping mechanisms. Now, if you're a Pisces, and I'm sure there'll be some Pisces watching this, and you'll be feeling all of this energy quite intensely. You are no stranger to the need and the desire to just escape, become invisible, disappear. Like Pisces originated the act of ghosting, right? And there's no malice in it if you're a Pisces. It's just like, I need to hide. I'm a hermit. Get me away from the spotlight. Give me some time away. I don't do drama. I do peace and calm waters, right? But most Pisceans or people with very strong Pisces placements have an ongoing desire to escape, to get away from reality. And where we are not necessarily raised with healthy coping strategies, where we are not always given the tools of meditation, visualization, maybe even something physical like swimming or going like for a hike and long walks, then you might just begin to feel a really powerful urge to drink more, engage in more substances, to party more, just getting into some of the more difficult, challenging coping mechanisms that give momentary peace and momentary relief, but can lead to ongoing habits, which can obviously become problematic. So, this current energy is asking us to do the work on yourself, allow the insights and downloads to come in, allow them to settle. Don't ignore them. Pay attention, no matter how painful. Answer that email that you've been avoiding. Take the phone call that you don't want to take. Face the more challenging aspects of life that have been calling you. Do your work, be disciplined, and you're more likely to experience some real relief to begin healthier, more joyful, more blissful patterns as we come through this eclipse tunnel. So you can think of this eclipse season through September as going through a bit of a blue hole, right? It's with the Pisces Virgo axis, it is about healing, but it is also about doing that work yourself. Pisces can be a little bit removed and wanting other people to come in. So Pisces rules things like institutions, right? So hospitals, prisons, boarding schools, like let somebody else do that for you. Whereas Virgo is very independent and Virgo says, do it yourself. So if you're able to do this yourself, do the hard work, you're less likely to enter an institution that may or may not have kind practices. And we also know that if we're not ready and willing to do the work, nobody can do it for us. So I just wanted to end with a couple of cards that I pulled earlier. So whenever I get into this state of like, what is going on? Give me more clarity. What does the collective need to hear? What are people dealing with? I like to pull cards, and I have like tens of decks. I don't know how many decks now, but the deck that I chose to pull from today is the Tattoo Tarot, which the artwork is absolutely phenomenal. If you have this deck, for some reason, now is a good time to use it. And the first card that came up was the Chariot. The Chariot signifies duality. So a lot of people talk about the Chariot as it's time to move forward and da 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 da. It's never that simple, okay? If you have lived any amount of life, you know it's not that simple. It's just like, just move on, keep going. Because if you've not dealt with the attachments and the energy, it's like a bungee rope, right? You get so far ahead and you're pulled all the way back. This is about duality. Notice the black and white horses. And what this card signifies is that we have mastery over duality. If you are ready to integrate parts of your life, if you are ready to balance the divine masculine and feminine within, if you are ready to balance your mind where there's been a ton of negative thoughts and not enough positive, or your mood has been really low and you'd like to rise through the frequencies and just feel more balanced, this energy is supporting you in managing the duality. It's supporting you in taking back control of internal balance. This is not about external stuff, okay? Pisces is definitely very internal. Pisces represents your temple where you go within to do the work. The next card I got is the Three of Swords. Now, there are some people, some of my subscribers and clients who dread the Three of Swords, but I want to point something out. One, there's a spider. Spiders represent cleaning up negative energy, but they also represent money coming in. A lot of people, including myself, are not great fans of spiders, but if we get into the symbolism, if we get into the spiritual aspect, spiders are one of the creatures in the world that are constantly creating geometric patterns. Now, the universe is run on sacred geometry, numbers, patterns, shapes. So if you imagine that a spider coming in, not only does it cleanse the space with its energy, but it creates this beautiful designs that are made of the finest thread, like so delicate and fragile, but so powerful. Now imagine a lot of people love the idea of like catching certain energies like money. We're always trying to create something that can hold what it is that we desire, right? So imagine the spiders coming in and creating these sacred webs that hold energy for a moment in time. Because they're so fragile, they are temporary, as are most things in life. But this gives you an opportunity to really think about what it is that you are trying to capture at this moment. What do you want to clear up and what do you want to bring in? Now, swords do represent communication, speech. They also represent the energy of Mars, as in like cutting through something, taking action. And the Three of Swords is often associated with deceit, distrust. In some cases, people do say that that can represent three people in a relationship where it's not wanted. But in a lot of cases, it is simply deceit, deception, maybe even you gossiping, speaking out of turn, telling lies, telling stories on other people. So I would take this card as a bit of a warning. So rather than being fearful, like, oh, he's cheating on me, I knew it. Not necessarily that. It's probably around the energy of where you may be deceiving yourself or where you could be deceiving somebody else. Pisces carries the energy of illusion, of fraud and deception in its shadow. And if we bring that into the light, that can be where we create the energy of choosing the dream life that we want to live, choosing a new vision, choosing a way to speak into life what it is that we really want. Remember, words are seeds. So the Three of Swords is coming up, and I would take this 1,000% as a bit of a warning, a bit of a reminder of where you may be deceiving yourself or others. And that's an easy choice, just to stop saying things, believing what you want to believe. Time to face the reality and figure out, according to the energy of a spider, what it is that you actually want to capture rather than what you've been trying to capture and hold on to. And the next card, which follows on really nicely, is another three, but it's the Three of Coins. And this really speaks to that energy of hard work. So three is a really powerful number. A triple braided cord is really hard to break. Three gives us some level of foundation. Think about a triangle. Think about where two or more, as in three or more, are gathered, then our prayers, our intentions, our meditations are much stronger. Now, as you can see on this card, the middle coin has the star in it, and the other two coins have tools. So With a 3, we're usually beginning something. We've got a bit of a foundation. We've got a cornerstone in place. And it does mean that we need some help. Okay, so where are you not asking for help? Where are you trying to do everything on your own? Or where are you underestimating the power of being part of a team? We're human, right? Humanity requires connection. We require networks. We require working with people. But putting in the hard work to maybe build a team that will work for your vision, putting in the hard work for you to become part of somebody else's team or to collaborate with people. I had a really powerful conversation with one of my collaborators yesterday. She said to me, "What's in this for you?" And I said, "I fully believe in the law of reciprocation. I believe that where I can build partnerships and relationships and collaborate with people, then what's meant for me will come back in due time from the other direction." So sometimes we pay it forward. Okay. Sometimes we start that energy in motion. Sometimes we work with other people. We put just as much effort into our partners, our children, our family members, our friends, as we would like them to put into us. But starting that hard work will yield results. We will get the rewards. And here they signified with the pentacles, which is coins, but that can come in so many forms, right? Abundance is about opportunities, the right people coming into your life, being aligned with your path, having ease and peace of mind, and all of these other great things that are not always represented by money. And the final card is the Lovers. Who doesn't love a good love story? So Pisces rules romance, it rules true love, it rules compassion and grace and all of these beautiful energies around love. And so I just want to say, isn't it lovely that we get to end on a positive note? The most powerful emotion that any human being can experience is love. And if you've ever experienced love or you've given real love, then you know that giddy, heightened frequency that just feels like all things are possible. And so I would implore you to get into that energy of love. Find something that you love, like whether it's a pet. I'm not saying that human beings aren't lovable, because we are, but we know sometimes it's challenging, or a hobby, something that you love to do. But just do whatever it is that will immerse you in the energy of love. These eclipse energies can be intense. You can feel lost. You can feel lonely. You can feel as if you're floating or drowning at sea. You can feel really out of sorts. But getting into that energy of love will really help you to elevate and ascend out of that, so that you can begin to feel just a little bit easier and more able, more capable of working through whatever these energies are presenting for you. So I just want to add a little reminder that tomorrow I will be hosting a group inner circle. This is my regular Sunday circle, but tomorrow's a special edition, because it is the lunar eclipse in Pisces. So we will be doing something a little bit different. I will be taking your questions. I will be offering you intuitive guidance. I'll be giving you an energy update. I'll speak a little bit about the astrology. But what I'm really excited about is we will be doing a past life regression session. So for those of you who are familiar with my work and may have known me for a while, you'll know that I am really obsessed with past lives. I love to talk about past lives, karmic cycles, soul contracts, the different incarnations that we all experience, what we've done before, what we could be doing in the future. So tomorrow I will be hosting a past life regression session that will help you to go into the lifetime that is most relevant to the karma that you're ready to end here, where you can get to end a soul contract that you may have made in poor judgment. So if you took an oath of poverty, if you took an oath of celibacy, if you took an oath of, I don't know what, that is playing out in this lifetime, and you're done, you're tired, you're like, I'm ready to end that and align with a new oath, a new vow, a new soul contract, we'll be doing that tomorrow. So join me tomorrow at 6 p.m. British summertime, which is, I believe, 1 p.m. Eastern time. and 12 p.m., so noon Central Time. I really look forward to seeing you. It is for paid subscribers only. So if you haven't paid, if you're not a paid subscriber on Beyond the Veil or True Soul Love, there might be an option for you to use your one-time free link, which Substack provides, which I think is amazing and gives lots of opportunities to get involved. So please share this video to anybody that is struggling at the moment, or just anyone who's curious about what's going on in the energy. And if you have any questions, any comments, please message me, comment below this video, like, share. Do all the things, because we don't gatekeep knowledge and wisdom here. We share it with the collective so that we can all rise and ascend together. So thanks for watching. Have an amazing Saturday. And I hope to see you tomorrow for the Lunar Eclipse in Pisces special edition and group session. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.